Alright, so this is this week's comic book reviews. I kind of want to try to do it in a speedrun format, like 23 comics reviewed. I think it's 21, right? Yeah, 21. 21 comics reviewed in less than 20 minutes. 20 minutes or less kind of video. But no promises, no promises. No promises. Like I always say, like my initial comic book haul, I like it to be, like before I do my complete comic haul, I like that first video to be shorter. And the complete comic haul is just like, so the complete comic haul is much longer than the original video. And I always fail at. Like there was one time where I think it was about the same length as my complete comic haul was. Like it was like 30 minutes, and then the complete comic haul was like 40 minutes, and like that was 35 minutes. So it's always unplanned, and I always like trail on or whatever happens. Because it's weird to think about that happens. Like I think it was twice in a row it happened, or 3 times in a row it happened. And it was like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah, it's a lot of comics I'm showing off, but it should not be this long. Ironically enough, if I stick to my guns, this month's comic haul will be the shortest it's ever been. I want to get more movies. I want to get less comics. I got a whole bunch of comics this past month. And even I'm like, I don't need more. I just need the ones that I actually need. Not the fucking volume 3 of an ongoing series that's going to go on for fucking ever. I can fucking wait. That was kind of the only thing that really pissed me off about last month's comic haul. Was I got Witchblade Volume 3 of 58. G.I. Joe Volume 3 of 65. And it's not that it's not like I got just Volume 3 and then the rest of the volumes are still to be bought. It's just that I know it's going to be a lot of volumes, even though we only have 3 volumes out so far, the 4th being solicited. And so it was just... And then there's Lost Fantasy Volume 2 of 78 with 100 spin-offs. And I got 100 volumes of the other spin-off. It was Fireborn, a spin-off of Lost Fantasy. And I'm being a pessimistic motherfucker about it, because I'm just so goddamn sick of... Already, like, okay, Kurt Byers, he has a new series coming out. He wasn't on Image Comics for a very long time, and it could be for any other publisher, but he decided to put it under Image Comics, so I feel less complete. I feel like it was a big waste of money to get the other books. It's like, oh, nice, Kurt Byers. I swear to God, if Chip Zdarsky goes back to Image Comics, I'm going to film a video of me burning all my goddamn comics. I'm so goddamn pissed off about that, because there's no reason to do that. If he goes back to public domain or like finishes off a series, that's different. Brian Lee O'Malley for Snot Girl, that series is going to inevitably come back because they haven't finished it yet. That's different. But when a comic book creator is like, yeah, I could publish this under any other publisher, but I'm going to do it under Image Comics. What the fuck happened with Distillery? Distillery, I think, is still going on, but I don't know if it is. I completely forget about Distillery. And they were like, the next Image Comics, they had Substack too, but they had decided to do Image. Now, why am I making a huge rant about this before I actually get into the actual video? Well, I'm a completist. I'm a completist at heart. And when I spend $1,000 on one creator's entire backlog of one publisher, and then there's no news of them coming back, especially if they haven't written for Image Comics for a long time, and then suddenly they're like, oh, I'm making my return. It's kind of annoying. It's like I just spent $1,000 on one writer's shit because I thought they'd never fucking come back, and now they're coming back. Like, William Harms is a name that I think nobody knew before White Sky. I only knew the name because I got his Impaler and 39 Minutes just for him to come back for White Sky 2 months later to announce his return. At the end of the day, it's a bit of an exaggeration, definitely an exaggeration to say, oh, Chip Zdarsky announces he's coming back next month to Image Comics at Bermela Comics. Obviously not. Obviously I'm not going to do that. And to be fair, in general, I have so many goddamn comics that even the ones that I'm like, okay, this is every author's work for Image, and that's all I have, and yada, and like Gail Scott, Jim Zub, Christopher Dingus, is his last name, Dinges, Kurt J. Wiebe. I just have so many writers that I have all their stuff that it's not on just one side of the shelf, but the other side too. So I can just replace that with that. And at the end of the day, if Chip Zdarsky comes back and it's a brand spanking new series that's not related to any of his other series, well, I have the complete series of all those other books. So, yeah, I know it's silly to get so up in arms about it, but I just feel more complete. Like, a perfect comic haul for me is a bunch of books, like 50 plus books, and they're all Like Jonathan Hickman is ever coming back. Jeff Lemire, he's on permanent hiatus from a series, so they get like more series like that, and just in general, ones I know the author is not going back to Image, like not for a fact, but like have a pretty good idea, or however you say. That's a perfect comic haul for me. Maybe one of them or two of them that aren't. Maybe like the ones I get from my the big, big stack, and like ones from like other people. Those ones are like Volume 3 of G.I. Joe and Volume 4, whatever. But without further ado, let's get into it. First up, how long was that intro? 5 minutes. Okay. Black by, I am not pronouncing that name because I will botch it. Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is the easy name. By Kwanzaa. And that's his name. This is a lot of people note this as the antithesis of Excellence by Brandon Thomas, where that one was a kick-ass story and it wasn't in your face about its politics, and you knew where it was going for, but it wasn't in your face about it, and it was just really enjoyable. This one was the complete opposite, and that's what they said. I honestly think this has really good pacing and much, much better pacing than Excellence does. Excellence, I felt like they was there for an hour for every issue of that, every issue, and only issue 1 is 40 pages. The rest is your standard amount of pages for any comic book that was released around that time. But I felt like it was there for an hour, even if it was half that. This felt like nothing. Now I am rereading Excellence, and honestly, the first issue, like so far, I was like, hey, it's kind of not that bad pacing. I kind of overstated it. Not really, because I'm sure I'll get into it, and I'm like, nope, I changed my mind. That's exactly how I remember it. And Excellence is just that series that, I guess something on, by the way. Excellence is just that series that I feel, not like I feel like I'm too harsh on, but I'm like, well, I don't want to keep acting like it's the worst thing imaginable. Let's keep giving it, keep rereading to redeem. For those of you who don't know, my rereads fall into 3 criteria. This was reread because I liked it so much. Excellence is reread to redeem, and if Snot Girl comes back after its hiatus, that would be reread to refresh. Where I want to reread it to refresh my memory, so when Volume 5 comes out on to DVD, when Volume 5 comes out, I can read Volume 5 and then be all caught up. That's what it does. That's what it does. That's how it is. Nope, that was worse. That is my criteria. There we go. So this one is just enjoyable. It's definitely on the nose with its politics, but rereading it, it's a little convoluted with its story, because a lot of things happen, and suddenly this character's like this, and then suddenly characters like that, and then this, and then it feels like it goes a bit too fast sometimes, but it's enjoyable enough. And a series like this, any series that when I'm reading it, I don't feel bored at all, that's a sign for a book that you at least need to check out for $3.99. Yeah, I got this for $4. The price of one, I got the price of 6 for 1. That's incredible. An incredible discount. Now, my local library has, if they interloan it, my local library does have a copy of this series. I think it is one of those evergreen comics that like every library is going to have, even one that just primarily focuses on Marvel and DC. I feel like either a library in your area have to interloan, like I would have to interloan it, would have it. But I don't know. I'd recommend it at a discount, or if you don't mind paying $20, which even I think that's a bit high rate. I think that's a bit of a high rate robbery. If you don't mind paying $20 for something that you want to just read like on a car ride, it's a long car ride, and you want to just read it all in one sitting, I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you don't mind doing that. Someone like me would hate doing that. But if you have a long car ride, you only have one book to read, like only bring one book with you, this is the worst one to pick. I give this one a solid 6 out of 10. The Vein. If there are comics that I reread to redeem because I hate them so much, there are very, very few that I loved the first time and hate the second time. Usually I reread something that I hated the first time and I loved the second time. There have been so many series that I love now that I've been liked before that I forget because of how much I like them, that I used to not like them. It's crazy when you think about that. I think a lot of it is just I don't even know, actually. I'm not even going to explain it. I could say, like, oh, the mood I was in. Not really. I mean, sometimes maybe, like, I thought it would be a quick read and it was double the length of your average comic book was, I was like, oh shit, that's a lot more reading to do. Maybe that's the case, but for the most part, I'll reread something and like it a lot more. The Vein is the complete opposite. I loved this one the first time, apparently, because I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on my library's rating system that they can rate books as you read them. So like this one I had the library, I gave 4 out of 5. The next one I gave like a 4 out of 5 also. But this one is just a mess. 5 issues should have been 5 volumes. Because it's a globe-trotting adventure, but not globe-trotting. Not too. But it's more like it takes place across decades. So the first issue is like 1940. I think the second one is like only a little bit later than that. But as it goes, like you go to modern day. You go from 1940 to modern day in 5 issues. That is already there. Yet something's wrong there. I think the writer, who's big on like the definition of who the fuck are you, Elliot Rahal. I would not be surprised to find out this is his only comic book credit. And it honestly feels like a novelist turned into a graphic novelist. Because there's a lot of dialogue here, a lot of narration, and it is not done in a creative or interesting way. It is a bore. A comic about vampires fighting Nazis for 2 issues is boring. How do you manage to fumble that so terribly? And this is not a case of me just not liking it because it's different than the norm, and it actually got a really high review on Goodreads. No, this is a 3.1 and 5 on Goodreads, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. Because it's Goodreads, I wouldn't say it should be a 2 out of 5. Usually those are reserved for truly reprehensible pieces of literature, like it just should be at 2 out of 10, but Nubia Real One or Squirrel Girl, comics that are the antithesis of what they used to be, and just antithesis of enjoyment or anything like that. This one is just a bore. A forgettable bore. 4 out of 10. Now 3. 3 out of 10. Morning in America is written by Magdalene Visaggio. If you want to look up into her controversies, I wholeheartedly suggest you do. She's just a very interesting person. She's involved in a lot of that kind of stuff, and one of those people that maybe that side of YouTube is right about. But if you separate the art from the artist, she can write a pretty damn good book, and I really enjoyed Morning in America. Like this one, and this was a reread. Apparently the second time I wasn't so crazy about it, but this time it was. It is a fast-paced thrill ride from start to finish. Has a bit of a rushed ending, but I read it again. I read it the third time. I think I remember the first. Yeah, first time I was like, oh, a little rushed ending. It works a little better this time around, but yeah, it is a bit rushed, but still a really enjoyable comic. It's 5 issues. It feels like nothing to read. Honestly, if you're on the ride back, I would say read this one and you have some time to look at the scenery. 9 out of 10. Really enjoyable stuff. And the characters aren't that annoying. You expect a book like this with, I don't know if the artwork, yeah, with the artwork, let's show the 2 pages of the artwork. You'd expect these characters to be written as annoying, cliched, or overpowered, and with no flaws. And not really. They're not really written that way. They're, at the very least, they are endearing, they're not annoying, and you kind of get behind them. You kind of relate to them, and they're enjoyable to be around. Like, I don't think I would like hanging out with these characters for too long, but they're not hating on each other. They're not like constantly bringing each other down for the sake of comedy or sake of, well, this is female empowerment. It's not those kinds of characters. And what's funny about this is that there are, because obviously this character is foreign. Yep, this character is foreign right here, and this one too. I think it's her father, right? There is a scene where it is in. I want to see if I can actually find it, but it is in Spanish, and I had AI translate it, but keep the lettering, and you could not tell the difference. It was really cool. I may be against AI, but I think as a toy, it's a really fun toy. It should not replace people's jobs, but it's a fun toy. Like, if I wanted to use that for translation, like, hey, keep the original lettering. That's really cool to see. But I don't think I should use it to publish anything and make people pay for it. That's not okay. But it's a fun toy, and I think it could help people. Like, I think it's a useful resource, but not a replacement. They shouldn't use it for schoolwork. I find that really funny that those college students who are booing the principal, or the head of the principal, like some big name for using AI in her speech. Yeah, you guys used AI to cheat. You're not any better than the principal. They're both bad. They're both I didn't say bad people. That's way too far. They're both making big mistakes, but it's the same mistake. You guys definitely. I'm not gonna say every single one of them did, but a good majority of them probably, and I say probably used AI to cheat on their essays and maybe their tests. Do not act like you're any better than that other person. It's someone who's more professional. There is that aspect, but don't act like you're any better than the person. Like, I never used AI because AI was nothing when I was a student. But like, if I was a student right now, I don't think I'd use AI to cheat. Like, sometimes, like, if I didn't respect the class, maybe, or if the class was like super difficult, maybe. But even then, you get caught so easily nowadays, I wouldn't even want to risk it. Cemeterians and Autumnal are both written by Daniel Kraus. I don't have to look at the name. This one is his grand achievement, his magnum opus, and this is just enjoyable enough. This I give like a 7 out of 10, maybe even a 6.5. It's got a very unique story, but it's a bit too short. It feels like this should have been the same amount of issues as this should have been. But every issue here is double the length of this, so the pacing is a bit off here compared to this. This is 4 issues, this is 8. If anything, it should be the opposite. It's not. But this one is enjoyable, a solid enough book. It's 6.5 out of 10. I do recommend it. Anything above a 6, I give 6 and above. It's a recommend for me. For those of you who don't know my grading system, it's a lot like YMS's. I think 6 out of 10 means that you enjoyed it enough, but it's not the best thing in the world. It's just average, and it's a little bit above average. Mostly because of the story and the way that, like, the twists and turns it takes. But at the end, I still think the ending is really weird and just kind of confusing. I know how it ends. I can tell you how it ends, but it's confusing. It's like, I feel like what you were setting up doesn't allow for that kind of ending. But okay, and it kind of does. It kind of doesn't. I don't think it's an awful ending, but it's just a out of left field ending. Not completely out of left field ending, but still out of left field. And then the Autumnal is just a fantastic classic, modern classic. If this was by A24, this would be the next Obsession. Not that this has anything to do with Obsession, but everyone be talking about Autumnal. You have all these video essays when the movie's only been out for a month. A lot of people talking about it. James A. Janice from Dead Meat would be raving about it every single time every chance he got. It is just that good. This is a 10 out of 10 comic. This is a 6.5. Daniel Kraus is, like, 5 pages into this book, there is a reference to Stephen King. But 5 pages in, it's just my first read, I was like, yeah, this is the Stephen King of horror comics, and I feel like I'm not going to change my mind when I finish it. And I have not since. I've read this thing 4 times. Really damn good stuff. My highest recommendation possible for the Autumnal. And this is also $19.99. And it's 8 issues. This is what $19.99 should be. Not 4 measly issues that are the same length, 128 pages. No, double that, $20. So, Dark Horse Comics, if you guys want to know why I get so much from Image, why I'm dead set on Image, they have the best pricing. Like, all on the best pricing. I've seen good pricing elsewhere, but consistently good pricing. And Dark Horse is like, here's this little itty bitty 128 page book, 4 issues, $20. Standard size, softcover. That's highway robbery. Right at the back, that's highway robbery. Now, Image Comics, on the other hand, flat rate $16.99. Now, you have sometimes it's like, wait, this is 4 issues, this is only a little bit over 100 pages. Why am I charging the same price as you would for something that's 6 issues and at least 50 pages longer? It's kind of weird. But most, like 9 times out of 10, they have impeccable pricing. Like really good, really damn good pricing. That $100 Darwin Cook Artist Edition book, it's an artist edition, that's gonna call it an artist edition. Initially I was like, okay, it's only omnibus size, is it? It's bigger than Absolute. And it's at over 300 pages. 12 issues. That's in hardcover. And it comes in a slipcase. They go above and beyond sometimes, most of the time. Alright. The Blue Flame is another 10 out of 10. This is Christopher Cantwell's magnum opus. This is how you do the superhero that's blue and that's depressed, and there's a reason for why, and Tom King would write this, and Comic Pop would love it. Christopher Cantwell writes it, and no one talks about it. Just saying. 10 out of 10, a must-read. I read it several times, like with the autumnal. Predator vs. Spider-Man. An enjoyable romp. That's an enjoyable, fun romp. That's all I need to say about it. 9 out of 10. You see Predator and Spider-Man, like, I'm getting that. You will not be disappointed. And it's parental advisory. For Spider-Man to be parental advisory, that's crazy. It's violent, mainly for the violence. They still, like, with parental advisories, like from Marvel Comics, parental advisory means it's violent. They're still gonna censor bitch. They're still gonna censor shit. They're still gonna censor fuck. They're still gonna censor everything under the sun that's not ass or even dick. They'll censor. It's weird. It's like it's parental advisory. You should at least uncensor everything that's on F word. Hulk volumes. No, outside 3 and 4. Great series. Every even numbered volume seems to be a bit of a step back. Volume 2 and 4, I feel like they're kind of like not as great as volumes 1 and 3. Still fantastic stuff, but volumes 1 and 3 knock out of the park and give us a version of the Hulk that's pretty unique. Now, it is the Al Ewing version. It's just Immortal Hulk, more of that. But I feel like they keep it consistent. I've heard Al Ewing's run dips in quality. This is not dips in quality in over 19 issues. It is it's fantastic stuff. Even though the even-numbered volumes are not as good as the odd-numbered volumes, I think it's going to continue. I still really enjoy it. I still think it's a great series overall. It's a little bit different quality. It's because of how good that first volume was. Completely blew me away. Even though I already knew about Immortal Hulk. This is the Hulk we need on the big screen. It is officially not hard to adapt the Hulk onto the big screen because of this run and because of Immortal Hulk. 10 out of 10. All around 10 out of 10. Like, it's not, the dips in quality is just because of how good the series was before, so I'm not gonna give it a lower score than 10 out of 10. Overall, again. Overall. Overall. Daredevil Born Again is just as good as they're saying it is. Frank Miller can do no wrong back in the day. We need this Frank Miller back. 10 out of 10. Because this, for an 80s book, for a book that was released in 1986, which is 40 years ago as of this year, the pacing is better than some modern comic books. Let that sink in. 10 out of 10. This one I didn't finish. I just don't like Al Ewing's writing. I don't. Unless it's Immortal Hulk, I have not liked anything else he's written, for the most part. This is just MCU Loki with a little bit of a dash here of Kieran. Huge helping of Kieran Gillen. It's like if Kieran Gillen's run was the MCU Loki. That's this book in a nutshell. It's just annoying. I couldn't even get past the original Sin issues I've co-written by Jason Aaron. That's saying a lot. Just burnt out at that point. I do own this digitally. I was gonna do like a whole, I'm not gonna read digitally, so I'll read physically. I'm just gonna own my digital copy. If I want to read it again, I'll do it that way. How long have I been going on for? 24 minutes. Okay, what time is it? Okay. Go a little bit faster now. Fire and Ice, a little bit more of a speed run at least. Fire and Ice volumes 1 and 2. 1 and 2. I had read volume, this is the read to refresh. Volume 2 had just come out. I was like, okay, gotta read volume 1 to refresh my memory. This is enjoyable. It's the... If you like Raina Telgemeier, or if you like Grace Ellis, you'll love this. You'll like this book enough. I don't think it's as good as those two authors but it's for fans of that series, of those series, like Lumberjanes, it's the Smile series. It's that kind of vein, but with a character that's kind of annoying. Fire is very annoying, and they have that thing where it's just, if you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. In the 5th issue, she and the Link, a character who is, I'm not gonna get into that. They are chastising a male character and bringing him down, and it is exactly that exactly goes exactly the way you think it would go. It's one of those books. It's like, it's really confused the way it does it. There's a way to do that. There is a way to do that, and they completely fumble it. But other than that little itty bitty nitpick, this is an enjoyable enough series. 6 out of 10. I was never like, this time around, but I wasn't really like invested in it. I was just reading it. It's like, that's good. You know, I'm not like super invested, I'm not hooked or anything like that. I don't think I want a 3rd volume though. I think I'm good with just these 2. A 12-issue maxi series or 2 6-issue miniseries. I think that's enough. Joanne Sierra is not as bad as a writer as people give her credit for. Yeah, that Harley Quinn comic is, even I'm boycotting, because it's not my style of humor in the slightest. I would honestly say it's worse than Squirrel Girl's humor. It's a Harley Quinn April Fool's Day book. Just look up that and you'll know what I'm talking about. Moving on. Two-Face Separation Anxiety. A pretty damn good book. The downsides almost overweigh the outsides, but the 5th issue here should have won the Eisner for best single issue. 8 out of 10 overall. Christian Ward is a damn good writer. But ironically enough, his indie stuff has been my favorite so far. His Bloodstained Teeth, I think, is like almost a perfect 10 out of 10 series. It's damn good. And just 10 issues, it feels like it's a 20-issue series because of how much you learn about the characters and how much you, like, I wouldn't say fall in love, but how much you identify. But how much, like, they're, like, you want to see them succeed and all that. Even if one is the Hellblazer of that universe. I'm not going to say much more than that. Spirit World. Apparently I wasn't super crazy about this the first time around. I don't know why, because this is really damn good stuff. Has great pacing. A little bit all over the place. A little bit messy. I feel like it goes too fast at times. But only a little bit. Alyssa Wong, if she writes this way for every single book that she writes, she'll be the next, not that bad writer, but maybe on the internet. I don't know how she is on the internet. I just lump all these modern female writers into, except for a few exceptions, of course, into one slump. So that's probably why, to one lump. That's more because I don't pay attention to that shit anymore. I don't care about that shit anymore, unless it's super egregious. I don't follow that anymore. But damn good writer. And just one book I read from her. And her Captain Marvel one, I don't remember a whole lot from. But I do remember I wanted to read more of it, and I just kind of fell off of it. And I think Volume 2 hadn't come out yet. I forget. I don't know. But 8 out of 10. Nah, 7 out of 10. Superman Unlimited Dan Slott. Yeah, so his Spider-Man run isn't the only thing I didn't like. I started to read his Big Time, and I hated it. I only got 1 issue in. And it was ironic is that the book was in awful condition because it was a hand-me-down from a library. And I am so glad that I had to deal with that for more than 1 issue. Not just because of the quality of the book itself, but the book in general. And Superman Unlimited, had it been longer than 6 issues, I would have given up. It is not good. It is just kind of boring. I'm glad we got the rights. It feels like a 70s, like the classic version of Superman. And it feels like it could take place in this like 78 universe, kind of. But it does not automatically excuse it from the pacing and the comedy and everything else being kind of It's mediocre. It's okay. It is a 5 out of 10. Maybe even a 4 out of 10. Deceased and Deceased Unkillables. Damn good stuff. The best of Tom Taylor that I've read thus far. 10 out of 10. Zatanna Bringing Down the House. Never heard about this one. This is Mariko Tamaki. This is DC Black Label, although they censor the language, because she's, I guess, like Tom King, who doesn't like having language. I don't know. I guess her choice. Has to be her choice, because DC otherwise would uncensor it. This is really good. 9 out of 10. Did it deserve the Eisner? Yes and no. Martian Manhunter is a trip. I want to take drugs and read this again. 9 out of 10. great pacing. It's just impeccable pacing. And then the Riddler Year One, 10 out of 10. Everything about this I love. And that, as I say, is that.